If your Shopify store is getting crushed by high Google Ads cost per clicks, this new strategy does the opposite. I've used this to lower cost per click by 500% and scale profitably. So in this video, I'll show you the exact framework, the proof behind it, and how you can implement it step by step in your own account. Most Shopify brands are fighting over the same keywords like face cream for women and organic protein powder. And this is why you end up paying $4, $6, even $30 per click. At that point, you've got to be donating a kidney for every click you get. Now, before you think you know where this is going, this isn't about just find low competition keywords. That advice belongs in a 2016 blog post with broken screenshots. And it's not a quality hack score either. When your clicks cost more than your profit margin, scaling is hard, sometimes mathematically impossible. And here's the mistake. You're bidding in the most crowded auction on the internet. Every brand wants the buy now traffic, so everyone piles into the same commercial keywords and Google rewards whoever is willing to pay the most. But here's a shift that gets a brand's clicks 500% less than the average cost per click on the account. Instead of targeting commercial keywords, I started targeting problem-based informational searches that the product solves. Let me show you what I mean. You've got to do this right, otherwise you'll just waste money on clicks and get no sales. If you type in something like buy dog food, you're walking into a knife fight. Everyone is armed. Everyone is angry. Top of bids are $8. Now compare that to what should I feed my dog? These keywords here are all 2 and 3 cents. There's some great keywords like what food should dogs eat and a lot of diarrhea searches. Dog owners are stressed about their dog blasting messes. Google sees a problem and advertisers see scent clicks nobody else wants. The core need is similar to what to feed your dog, slightly different intent, but a completely different auction that causes costs to be 10 times cheaper. That's the opportunity and almost no brands take it. Why? Because it takes more effort to make this cheap keyword profitable. You can't just send this traffic to a product page and hope it converts. You need a matching landing page and a campaign structure to make this work, which I'll show you in this video. Here's what you do instead. You'd build a simple list style landing page titled, "What should I feed my dog?" or "What to feed your dog." Inside that list, you'd educate, you'd give real value, and one of the solutions is your dog food. Not pushy, not aggressive, just positioned naturally as the best fix. And this works for 3 reasons. First, you're entering cheap auctions, so less competition automatically drops your cost per click. Second, informational searches often have higher total search volume. They're more top of funnel, so naturally the audience is bigger. And third, it's incremental revenue. This cold traffic your competitors are completely ignoring. You're not attracting existing buyers as you're creating demand earlier in the customer journey. Now, this isn't a magic strategy for every Shopify brand. It only works if your product solves an actual problem people search for. If you sell skincare products, people search, "Why am I breaking out all of a sudden?" or "How to get rid of acne well." If you sell supplements, they search, "Why am I always tired? How to boost metabolism naturally." If you sell hair care products, they search, "Why is my hair thinning?" or "How to fix damaged hair at home." Those are real problems with real search volume, and most Shopify brands selling those products are completely ignoring them in Google Ads. But if you sell something without a clear urgent problem like abstract wall art, this strategy doesn't really work. No one panic searches wall art at 2 a.m. So the real question becomes, how do you actually find the right problem-based searches to target and know which ones are worth building around? And this is where most people get it wrong. They find 1-2 keywords, build a single advertorial, test it briefly, and when it doesn't scale instantly, they assume the strategy doesn't work. That's a tiny sample size, not a strategy. This approach only works when you go wide first. You need to build the master lists before you build anything else. Otherwise, you're trying to win the lottery by buying one ticket and calling it a strategy. The best place to start is not some expensive SEO tool. It is your own Google Ads account. Go into your search terms report and look at what people are already typing before they click. Then filter for informational intent. Keywords that contain words like how, when, why, those are problem first searches. That is exactly what we want. Add them to a spreadsheet. From there, you expand. Take those core phrases into Keyword Planner and look for related variations. Since we also do SEO for Shopify stores at my agency, I've discovered that Google Search Console is another fantastic source to see what problem-based terms you are already getting impressions for. In the tool, you can filter by impressions and browse the whole list to find more ideas to add to your sheet. If you use Ahrefs, you can also browse the questions report to uncover even more angles. The goal is not to find one winner. It is to compile at least 10 relevant problem-based searches. I suggest even doing 100 because the biggest mistake with this strategy is only running a few advertorials. Scale comes from coverage, but here's the catch. Cheap clicks can destroy your account just as fast as expensive ones if they don't convert. If you send informational traffic straight to a product page, most of them will bounce. When they bounce, Google does what Google does. It raises your CPCs and limits your scale. Cheap traffic becomes expensive again and the whole advantage disappears. And that is why the real leverage is not just finding lower cost searches, it's turning problem-aware traffic into buyer-ready customers. And that comes down to one thing: alignment. Your page must match the intent of the search perfectly. The first rule of building these advertorials is simple. Don't guess. You may already have proof inside your own data. Go into Google Analytics and find blog posts or pages that are driving strong engagement or revenue. Then open Google Search Console and look at the exact queries bringing people to those pages. Those queries are validated demand and those pages are validated assets. You're not creating something new. You are scaling what already works. And that is why combining SEO Insight with Google Ads is so powerful. Now, here's what separates advertorials that compound performance from ones that burn budget. The structure must mirror the searcher's intent from the first line. If someone searched benefits of acupressure mat, your opening paragraph should describe that frustration clearly and specifically. When people feel understood, they stay longer. I did just that in this advertorial for a brand to answer the search benefits of acupressure. You'll see the headline speaks directly to the benefits of an acupressure mat. There's not a headline like, why acupressure is good for your body. It's very direct. The opening image summarizes the key benefits as well. The first sentence kicks off into the conversation already going on inside the person's mind without rambling. And this is where most people go wrong. You don't sell, you educate them. Explain what is happening and why the problem exists in a clear, logical way. Use visuals that reinforce the issue, whether that is a comparison, a product in use, a diagram, or a real-world example. Here you see helpful graphics I made to support the content so it shows instead of just telling. And this is how you make good SEO content. Next, build authority with research, expert insights, or credible explanations. I linked to the Cleveland Clinic, Sleep Foundation, and other authorities. I've then got actionable advice you can try immediately so the page delivers real value. Once you've built trust, you can lightly pitch the product. At that point, it feels like a logical solution rather than a sales pitch. Instead of saying buy now, use a softer transition such as, if you want a simpler long-term solution, you can see how this works here. Higher engagement improves quality score, and stronger quality scores lower your cost per click even further. And this is where the compounding effect begins. Once your advertorial is structured this way, you are ready to build a campaign around it and scale with confidence. Now that your advertorials are structured correctly, it is time to put paid traffic behind them. And this is where you may overcomplicate it. You don't need a complex funnel. You need control and clean data. Start with a simple search campaign, nothing fancy. Set your daily budget at roughly 2 times your target CPA. So if your target is $30, your daily budget could be $60. That gives the campaign enough room to breathe and gather meaningful data. Use the manual CPC bid strategy to start. Don't hand control to automated bidding until you're getting a sale per day from this campaign. Once you get a sale per day, automated bidding will be more accurate and help you scale. So that's about 30 conversions a month. Another thing you must do for this new strategy is to exclude brand terms. This campaign is not about harvesting people who already know the brand. It is about acquiring new customers from problem-based searches. In terms of ad group structure, create one ad group per advertorial or landing page so you can see which pages are performing, the relevant keywords associated with that ad group as well. This lets you optimize them. This makes testing and scaling much cleaner. Each search theme gets its own tightly aligned landing page. No mixing, no broad grouping. Your ad copy should match intent, not sell aggressively. The headline needs to closely match the search term. If the keyword is something like acupressure mat benefits, your headline should match like top acupressure mat benefits. The description should reinforce the education angle, not push a discount or get people to buy. An example being, learn how an acupressure mat can reduce pain, improve sleep, and lower your stress. Continue the conversation. Don't change it. This match drives high click-through rates and ultimately better quality scores to save you money on every click. And when everything lines up from keyword, advertorial, the algorithm works with you instead of fighting against you. Now, if you want an even simpler version of this strategy, there is one. Instead of manually building out every keyword, you can run a dynamic search campaign that targets your advertorial content. You do this in a new search ad group. Then select dynamic instead of standard. Then for the targeting, if you're using Shopify, select a rule of /blogs or /pages. And this allows Google to match search queries to your blogs or pages where advertorials exist for Shopify brands. You can also create exclusion rules to avoid advertising content like your privacy policy. You don't have to do expensive keyword research. The system in dynamic ad groups uses the content on your site to determine when to show your ads. The better your SEO, the stronger this performs. Clear titles, strong on-page structure, well-written content with authority give Google more signals to match the right searches. When your content is strong, dynamic search becomes a multiplier. It captures long-tail queries you might never have thought of to bid on manually. If manual search gives you control, dynamic search gives you coverage. And when paired with the structured advertorial system you built earlier, it becomes a scalable layer on top of everything else. And together they turn this from a tactic into a complete acquisition system. Most Shopify stores can hit a ceiling even with cheaper clicks because they misunderstand how Google Ads actually works behind the scenes. You can double your ROAS and still lose money if you ignore the way the system optimizes your traffic. And that is exactly what the top performing brands are doing differently right now. So if you want to see the new method that is blowing up Shopify Google Ads accounts, click on this video now. I will break down what has changed inside Google Ads and how the smartest brands are using it to scale faster than ever.